This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Good morning, and thank you so much for getting up with us to start your Sunday. I'm Christine Pitawanich. In your headlines this morning, one person is dead and a man is in jail after a car crashed into a power pole in southeast Portland. Plus, the search is on for a second car that police say was involved in a fatal hit and run on TV Highway in Hillsborough. But first, let's start things off with Keely Chalmers and a quick look at the forecast. Good morning, Keely.
Yeah, good morning, Christine. I'm feeling a little more tired this morning because of that lack of hour of sleep that we all got last night. Not enough sleep, but that's okay. It's Sunday. We got lots of sunshine out there in the forecast, and that means it's going to be a nice day. A chilly start to the Sunday. We're at 28 degrees right now. We are clear. Here is how your day is shaping up. It's going to be a chilly one, and check it out. There's that sunrise, 7:31 today. We're going to be about 42 by noon, and then warming up to about 49 by about 5 o'clock. Sunset 7:08. So not only do we get the sunshine, but we get it as a little bit longer as we head into the evening. We'll talk about the next chance for some rain and warmer temperatures in the forecast coming up. Christine.
Okay, thanks, Keely. A man is in jail this morning after running from police and getting into a deadly crash. This all happened around 11 o'clock last night. It started when police say they tried to pull over the car on Southeast Division Street, but the driver sped off. Police did not chase him, but found the car crashed into a power pole at the intersection of Division and 122nd Avenue. The passenger inside the car died at the scene. The driver ran, but police say they arrested him a short time later. He was taken to the hospital to be treated for minor injuries. That crash also caused a power outage in the surrounding neighborhood. Police say the car involved was reported stolen. The Washington County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly hit and run on TV Highway. They say 2 cars were involved, and this morning they're searching for that second car. It happened around 7 o'clock last night on Baseline Road, going west just as you enter Cornelius. Sheriff's deputies say a 59-year-old man was trying to cross Baseline when a Honda hit him. That car stopped, and the driver is cooperating with the investigation. But then a second car, police say, hit the pedestrian and did not stay. Deputies say it's possible the driver didn't know what happened, and this spot in particular is hard to cross when it's dark out.
Just not a well-lit area. I would just say if you're a driver, pay attention. If you're a pedestrian, be aware cars are going 55 plus on this road. So keep that in mind when you're trying to judge whether or not it's safe for you to cross.
Investigators want you to call them if you know anything about the second car that hit the man who was crossing the road. A vigil is being held today for a man shot and killed by Vancouver police last week. Officers say Carlos Hunter was uncooperative and had a gun when they pulled him over on Thursday. They say he was a gang member, but his family says he had changed his ways and was picking up his son when he was shot. The vigil will be held at 5:30 tonight at the scene of the shooting. That's the intersection of 78th and 25th in Hazeldale. It's the Vancouver Police Department's 4th officer-involved shooting in 4 weeks. And police locked down Lloyd Center Mall after they say a man threatened someone with a very real-looking fake gun. That happened around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. They say Garrett Gibson threatened someone with the gun, and a shopper called 911. Police say the fake gun in this case, actually an air pistol. No one was hurt, and the lockdown was lifted. And this morning, we're waiting to learn more information about a body found in the Columbia River. Crews were called out to the south end of the interstate bridge around 11 o'clock yesterday morning. Deputies say at this point, all they can tell us is that the body belongs to an adult. Police in Seattle say they've rescued 26 women after busting a human trafficking and prostitution ring. They say it was run through massage parlors throughout the city. Chris Daniels shows us the conditions police say these women were forced to live in.
Seattle's Chinatown International District is one of the city's cultural hubs, a mix of personalities and flavor. And according to Sunny Nguyen, it has also attracted something else.
It can be really hard to fill a storefront when you're a property owner. It's very tempting to take that offer and to fill your storefront.
The public safety coordinator for the district says those spots became massage parlors, and neighbors in a recent poll called it a security problem.
More people said that they were concerned about the number of massage parlors in the neighborhood than they were concerned about being sexually assaulted in the neighborhood, which is very, very surprising to me.
Seattle police finally moved in on February 28th, raiding places which were not offering traditional licensed massage therapy.
A lot of men that were going in and out of a location.
Police say they were fronts for human trafficking and prostitution, announcing today the arrest of 5 people and charges for another, accusing them of being part of an operation which lured women to the U.S., forcing them into sex work up to 20-hour days and keeping a majority of the profits. Many of the women, police claim, were also living inside the spas.
Squalor is a nice word for what they ended up encountering.
It casts another light on increasing concerns about this type of criminal behavior in Washington state. More than 1,000 cases have been reported here since 2007.
I have a lot of concerns about the safety of the women that were in those scenarios.
Wynn says now that his neighborhood has had some help, he's hoping the victims get the same respect, too.
Gosh, terrible stuff to hear about, but glad police moved in. Meantime, Washington's governor and attorney general now urging gun dealers to follow the state's new gun laws. This is despite a dozen sheriffs in the state saying they won't enforce them. Initiative 1639, which voters passed last November, raises the age to buy semi-automatic rifles to 21. It also expands background checks for these types of guns. A letter from Governor Jay Inslee and Attorney General Bob Ferguson warns dealers that if they don't follow these laws, their licenses could be revoked or they could face charges. It's been a few years since we've seen the loud protests in front of old historic homes slated to be torn down in Portland's housing boom. But now 2 new bills just announced in Salem would make demolition of those kinds of properties a lot harder. KGW's Nina Melhoff reports.
Yeah, it was a beautiful old church. You know, you hear music on Sundays and different times of the week.
This 108-year-old evangelical church is long gone, replaced by the usual storyline of very modern homes in an old neighborhood. Michael Hensley wasn't happy with the demolition several years ago.
To maintain some of the cultural and historical integrity in these old neighborhoods I think it's worthwhile.
That church had been one of these 5,000 red dots, Portland's historic properties inventory, a community-generated list that's neat, but essentially meaningless. The way Oregon law is right now, all owners have to do is submit a letter saying they want their property off the inventory, and it's automatically granted. Then comes the demolition permit, and that historic building is gone. Only buildings on the National Historic Register, something pretty difficult to attain, are protected from the wrecking ball.
We're kind of known as the worst case, the worst example in the country, and I'm going, that's not where Oregon should be.
Nonprofit Restore Oregon helped draft a new bill that would let cities create more ironclad, real historic designations that takes the dependents off the National Register. Anyone could nominate an appropriate building for consideration. Once it had the designation, it would take hearings and a vote of the city government to take them off or be torn down.
I would support that. I mean, once you tear these old buildings down, you never get them back. There's no, the character of the neighborhood is destroyed, basically.
A second bill would give a 25% rebate on construction costs for owners who fix up historic buildings like these gems around the state, and a 35% rebate on earthquake retrofit costs on historic brick buildings. A study found those rebates alone would mean 4 times as many old buildings will stay standing and be restored.
I think it's going to have a profound impact. The rural communities need to attract investment in their main streets, for instance, and in their historic places.
March 26th is the next hearing at the Capitol for public comment. In Portland, Nina Melhoff, KGW News.
Gotta say, I love the historic buildings here in Portland. It's been nearly 2 decades since a major earthquake has hit the Pacific Northwest, and now we're taking a look at what we've learned since to prepare for the big one.